attorneys are notoriously what we'll call laggards with technology, right? So, what are the challenges that you see in terms of getting them to be serious about it?
I think the hardest part is change management. A lot of organizations that we see that we walk into is they're afraid of change, or someone in the company is afraid of change and they're afraid to push that change down to the rest of the team.
If you're an aggressive, growth minded attorney looking to transform your law firm into a thriving business, you're in the right place. Welcome to the AGM Attorney Podcast, the #1 podcast dedicated exclusively to aggressive, growth minded attorneys. Each episode will deliver actionable strategies and insights to help you attract ideal clients, scale your law firm, and dominate your market. And now, here's your host, Josh Konigsberg.
Welcome to the AGM Attorney Podcast, where aggressive, growth minded attorneys discover proven strategies to transform their law firms into thriving businesses. A special thank you to our sponsor, Law Firm Marketing Pros. They get you more leads, more clients, and more profits. I'm your host, Josh Konigsberg. Let's get aggressive. Hey, Josh Konigsberg back with another exciting episode of the AGM Attorney Podcast. Today I have with me Rory Cooksey. He is the Vice President of Brand and Business Development at Wheelhouse IT, where he helps law firms modernize their technology, protect client data, and grow with confidence. With a focus on strategic partnerships and long-term solutions, Rory works directly with law firm owners to ensure their IT infrastructure isn't just functional, but aligned with growth, security, and operational excellence. Sounds great, Rory. Really excited to learn more about it. So, welcome to the podcast.
Pleasure. Thank you for having us.
So, Rory, your background spans brand development, business strategy, and partnerships. What led you to focus specifically on supporting businesses through IT?
Long story short is I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I met a really good group of people that convinced me that this is the right place to be, and that's how I landed here. I actually
Okay.
came from the hospitality world, and magically now in the IT world.
Wow. See, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but that's a
Neither
different
do I. So
conversation. So, so for attorneys who still think IT is something reactive, purely technical, how do you define the role of IT in a firm that's serious about scaling? Because I've heard some horror stories, seen some things myself, which I'm in disbelief about. So if you could elaborate a little bit about that would be amazing.
I think the crux of your question here is: do you look at IT as an investment, or do you look at it as like an scapegoat, or do you look at it as just a problem within your company? The more and more that we talk to organizations, whether it's legal, healthcare, whatever the case may be, I think especially now, like what we're going to 2026, right? I can't believe the year's almost over. That firms need to start looking at IT as an investment into the organization of how you scale, grow, how you leverage it, especially with the advent of AI. I mean, you can't hide from it anymore. I mean, it's in your pocket, it's on your wrist, so on and so forth. Like it's only going to get worse as as the years go on. Like,
Well, or you could phrase it, it's only going to get better, right?
yeah, true, yeah.
I agree with you, and I see that it's a rapidly evolving thing, but I'll also say that historically now I've been doing this for 15 years, digital marketing for 15 years, right? My first client was an attorney. So I've seen attorneys as recently as a year or 2 ago still managing their intake, attribution with a notepad with ticks on it. Well, right. So I said that is true. I said that to say this: attorneys are notoriously what we'll call laggards with technology, right? So, what are the challenges that you see in terms of getting them to be serious about it?
I think the hardest part is change management. A lot of organizations that we see that we walk into is they're afraid of change, or someone in the company is afraid of change and they're afraid to push that change down to the rest of the team. Uh, the best way that I think that we at Wheelhouse IT have figured out how to get organizations to adopt that change is take a crawl, walk, run approach. Start with a small department and then expand it from there, or start with a single person if you are a small law firm, and then kind of expand and kind of build that case study internally. I think that's really the hardest part, is just getting the team to change. The technology is there; it's going to be there. It's going to help you. It's going to do better, but it's the process of learning and then just adapting to whatever that change is going to be with whatever your workflow may or may not be today.
And it's not just about data security, obviously, especially when you're dealing with PI, because you've got HIPAA compliance issues. When you're dealing with estate planning, obviously, there's a lot at risk. So it's not just data protection from a breach; it's also the threat of your system being held hostage for someone, or even just it going down. Is that right?
It's that, but I think if you look at it in a different perspective, and this is something that we try to take over, we try to explain often, is like, for instance, when you hire Wheelhouse IT, we like to claim that we're an extension of your brand, and I think the word brand is key there, because through data protection and things like that, take like the legal replications out of the way. It All these attorneys spend so much money in marketing, and they work really hard to like build their name and things like that. That is their brand, right? And if you have to turn around and tell everybody that, hey, you lost data, or their data is out there, and whatever the case may be, you're tarnishing that brand. And I think if you look at that and take that and kind of run with it, I think that might flip a switch in someone's mind to go, hey, you know what? I do have to take this serious, because it's not just me. It's also you have a responsibility to the stakeholders that you're servicing at the end of the day.
Right. Makes sense. So what are the biggest tech related challenges that you see law firm decision makers face as they try and grow? And how do those issues impact their bottom line, or even just their quality of service to their clients?
I think the hardest part is really just figuring out where to start or what to do. Because like, I'm not an attorney by trade. I don't understand the industry inside and out, and I don't expect attorneys to understand the technology space inside and out. So you have to find a trusted partner. And I think finding that trusted partner may be the hardest part, whether it's in someone that you hire internally, and then you have to trust that whoever you hired is going to bring the bring the firm in the right direction, or if you hire someone externally, like a managed service provider like Wheelhouse IT. There's various ways to do it, but it's just trying to figure out where do you start? And because technology is changing so fast, it's hard to keep up. So you may make a decision on in February, and then come March, it's completely different, because technology is completely revamped and spun on its head, and AI has done something completely different. And so I think it's kind of like figuring out, like, what's that roadmap that you have to build, and where do you want to take the firm?
Right. But you can also start small depending on the size of the firm, right?
Oh, 100%.
Cybersecurity, remote work, obviously the entire world's moved to that, to some extent, to that model, right? Um, and outdated infrastructure. They're all really big stress points for attorneys, for law firm owners, right? So where do you see firms most at risk, or even most at risk at falling behind if they don't take some type of an action?
I think the outdated infrastructure is a good starting point, because it's just an easy thing to fix. It's a small capital investment, or large, depending on where you're at and how outdated it is. But that's a quick check mark to say, hey, I fixed it. I got new infrastructure. We're good to go. Um, in terms of that, it's also finding the right solution to protect the organization as a whole. A prime example is if something happens at 2 in the morning, and there's a God forbid, a ransomware event or something along those lines, is there somebody that's there protecting the organization, whether it's an external security operations center, otherwise known as a SOC, or a managed service provider, or do you have an internal IT guy that's sleeping and has no idea that things are happening? I think that's really where a risk is do you have a team of people that are capable of protecting the organization at any given hour? Um, because they're not the ones that are doing the legal work. They're just busy looking at red flags that should be popping up. And outdated infrastructure is a huge part of where a threat actor can get in.
Sure, sure. And that also could lead just to downtime, right? Because stuff breaks. Right,
Totally, yeah. I mean, if you're
right.
not billing, you're not making money. So
That's
if you're
right.
not, you're
That's
running
right.
your
So
time.
so a lot of the smaller firms take a "we'll fix it when it breaks," right? So, what is the cost of that mindset, and how does Wheelhouse IT help reframe that mindset?
That's a really tough question. I think like to talk on the Wheelhouse IT side for, I guess, to start, and I guess I can wrap up the other side is that Wheelhouse prides ourselves in transparency. We've created a portal in which you can see in real time all of your inventory and understand the life cycle of it. So you can see, okay, is it going to break? Is it not going to break? Am I working on a machine that's 100 years old, or am I working on something that's only 3 months old? Um, we give you a portal that gives you real time insights into that to kind of help you prevent those fix it when it breaks type of things. Uh, if you're following that break fix model, I think you're truly hindering yourself in a hole. A prime example I like to give people is that if you follow a break fix model, there's no one incentivized to just find the root cause of your problem. So going back to our previous question of the time and just being out of commission, uh, if you could be proactive with it, then you can fix a lot of problems ahead of time before they even become a problem.
Makes perfect sense. So if you stay in front of it, you don't have the downtime, which costs you money. So, right. So let's talk a little bit about some of the lessons that you've learned from your experience over the years. What have you learned about helping law firm owners see IT not as a cost center, but as a strategic asset that supports long-term growth?
It's a great question. I think it's just going back to just kind of reframing and kind of understanding the business as a whole. The more that we understand what the law firm does, how they operate, what do they do, why do they do, what are the processes, and kind of understand what are their goals, there we kind of work to, at least at Wheelhouse IT, we then spin everything that we're trying to do to match those goals that the firm is attempting to accomplish. Because at the end of the day, we want to be a strategic partner, and we want to ensure that we're helping people drive the bus down the right track, or the train on the right tracks, or we want to ensure that we're helping meet those strategic goals. The more that we can help attorneys get out of the law mind frame for a second and get into the business mind frame, I think that's going to be the biggest way to find a win on both sides of the aisle.
Makes sense. So, can you share a story where a law firm saw real business impact, whether in growth or retention or client satisfaction, after rethinking their IT strategy using your team?
Yeah, certainly. We partnered with a law firm that's in New York, and when we first walked into their office, I vividly remember seeing just literally a giant hallway of filing cabinets, and they were very paper based. Today, roughly 5 years later, I think that wall of filing cabinets is gone, and they've moved everything to digital. So we found a partner to help them scan their documents, put everything online. Uh, their entire workforce is leveraging the Microsoft ecosystem to communicate and collaborate internally. So they're able to swiftly move. They've been able to downsize their office because they don't need all those filing cabinets. The team is now able to work at a hybrid rate, so they could be at home. They could be. It doesn't matter where they're at. They can still get all the documents they need. So I think that's probably one of our biggest success stories in terms of getting a law firm from, like, I'm going to call it prehistoric ages to where we're at and coming up to 2026, is to help them figure out how can they collaborate and not have to be stuck in one ecosystem.
I never thought about facilities management and being able to downsize a facility and what the savings of that is. I mean, you're paying for your, they're paying for your services just by that. So
Most
that's
certainly, and I think part of what made us successful in that range is that we were able to come in and bring in third parties. So we like to say that we're really good conduits at finding the right resources. So we brought in a paper management company that really had nothing to do with us, but we knew that there were companies out there that were really good at providing this law ecosystem, and we connected them to the right people and got them where they needed to be. And over time, they were able to downsize. And again, they're not stuck within four walls. And if the office goes down tomorrow because of a blizzard or whatever the case may be, they still have all their documents, and they can still work and function and do what
perfect.
they got to do to serve their clients.
I'm sure you've got backups and redundancies and all that. So
A hundred
amazing.
percent.
Okay. So beyond infrastructure, how does getting IT right affect team morale, client trust, or even just a firm's ability to retain their top talent for their team?
Do you want to work in a place where you can't access your documents? You got to get up, walk to the filing cabinet, do what you got to do? Probably not.
Right.
Uh, Sticking with that same example I just gave, I think the employee morale is probably really high compared to, "Oh, I got to get up, walk down the hallway, sift through filing cabinets." If you can just hit file, click, do a quick search using Microsoft Copilot or AI or
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. you can work a lot more efficiently, and you kind of have more sense of purpose instead of just being like an admin.
Yeah, now these are things, this is why you're here, because these are things that most attorneys don't think about until they experience or get to talk to someone like you, because these are things that I've never thought about. So
Well, I also look at it, right? Like you brought it up earlier, like time is money, right? So the faster that you can get the results that you're trying to achieve, the faster you can turn around and bill, and you can get to the next clients, whatever the case may be. So if we can help a law firm be more efficient, leveraging technology or the tools that are becoming available, it's only going to help law firms make additional revenue and service their clients faster and get to the better result.
faster, smarter. Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about some of the trends that we're seeing, because we all know what's next, right? But we don't know. So law firms are, they're starting to adapt some AI tools, and um, w- often what we'll see is there's no clear technology foundation for that. So what role does a strong IT strategy play in actually making those tools useful and secure?
I think it starts with asking questions. Don't dive into the deep end without your floaties, if that makes sense. If you have a trusted partner that can help walk you down the right path to ensure that you're adopting the tools responsibly. Uh, I, we recently did a a panel discussion based on AI and how to leverage AI specifically in the healthcare space, not attached to a law firm. But it was interesting hearing doctors talk about how they're adopting AI in their practice, but they don't realize that they were actually breaking a ton of HIPAA rules in the process because they were just putting patient records out there because they were like, oh, ChatGPT can do this for me quickly. But I guarantee you that a law firm that's watching this as we speak is doing the same thing. They're taking they're
Oh,
taking
yeah.
their case records, putting them into ChatGPT and saying, "Hey, write this for me," and completely just giving away information that shouldn't be. And I think it's finding a partner that can help educate and ensure that as you're adopting these tools, you're doing it responsibly for both your brand as well as the stakeholders that are trusting you with their information.
So I've already heard horror stories about that. So when we know that we have chat GPT or AI hallucinations, we know that's going on as well. So, you you mentioned that you work with a firm in New York. Where are you guys based, and can you service anyone in the country using the tools that are now available to work remotely?
That's a great thing about technology is 98% of what we can do can be done remotely. I'm currently sitting in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We have an office in Orlando. We have an office in New York. We have teams peppered between Iowa, Arkansas, Nebraska, Georgia, and then we have a team of global engineers that follow the sun. If we never walked into a client's office, we don't necessarily have to. We have a 14 location office in Utah that we visited once since we've signed them up. We did the entire sales process remotely. Technology has allowed us to do what we do in that space. We love the in-person conversation, shaking hands, going to dinner, having wine, so on and so forth. Like, who doesn't like that? But at the end of the day, we also realize time is money, and if we can do things quickly and efficiently, we're going to do it. So technology has certainly allowed us to be really smart and effective. Uh, so I I hope I answered your question.
You did. Yes,
All
you
right.
did. Yeah, yes, you did. So some advice for the aggressive growth-minded attorneys out there. So for a law firm
There's
trying to
only a few of those
grow,
out there.
what's
There's
that? There's
only
a few.
a
Yeah,
few
right.
aggressive growth-minded attorneys out
How
there.
I came up with that name. So, for the law firms trying to grow without a clear IT strategy, right? What's one shift in thinking or in structure that can help them scale with less stress and less risk?
It's a great question, and they can go a million different directions, and I think if I had to just give you one word, is find a trusted partner. That's the best thing I can do is find a partner that you can know and trust and understand that they're gonna get you in the right direction without going down a super long rabbit hole. I think that's gonna be the best piece of advice I can give. Because again, I don't know the law space. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a doctor's office, so on and so forth, right? But we do know technology really well and we can help guide you. And like the one thing about Wheelhouse IT, for instance, is we have 300 plus clients that we support and we cross pollinate. So we take failures from one client and make sure another one doesn't do that as well. So it allows us to be really smart and strategic about how we provide guidance and support. So if you
So
can
they're
find
not
a partner like that, I think you're already on the right track.
so they're not mistakes, they're lessons.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Rory, based upon your experience working closely with legal leaders, what final nuggets of wisdom would you like to share with attorneys who want to build leaner, more resilient, and more scalable teams, starting with their IT?
I would say truly like figure a way to adopt the technology. If you can find a champion within the organization that can kind of be the leader to learn new processes, procedures with technology, whether it's leveraging Microsoft's Copilot or whether it's creating a training platform for the rest of your team. I think that finding a single person that can just be that rah cheerleader to help the rest of the organization get in line. I think that would probably be my single piece of advice. If not, then if I can throw a second one out, there's again
Sure.
going back to our last
Absolutely.
question
Yeah.
is
No, I welcome it. I welcome the advice.
yeah, going back to the last question that we had is literally find a trusted partner. Even if you have someone internally that's doing your IT today, find an organization like Wheelhouse IT that can co-manage that relationship. Because I think that that's something that a lot of organizations miss is giving your internal IT person a good work-life balance. If Bobby in IT goes on vacation, is he really going on vacation or is he sitting on the beach with his laptop and a mojito in his hand? So if you could do two of those pieces together, I think you'll find a really good path for IT success as you continue to build a roadmap towards it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So it's now time for us to move on to my favorite part of the podcast. I call it the lightning round. This is where people get to know, like, and trust you. I'm just going to ask you a series of questions, and whatever pops to your mind, um, that just go ahead and answer it. And again, this is where people get to know a little bit more about you, Rory. And obviously, we all do business with people we know, like, and trust. So, what never fails to make you laugh?
Uh, um, what never fails to make me laugh? Just stupid videos on TikTok.
Okay, I like it. Yeah. Okay.
That would be my crutch there.
So TikTok passes your safety IT test. Right?
It does, yeah.
Okay. So what's the best compliment you ever got?
That's a tough one. Best compliment me personally I ever got. Um, I don't know that I have a true answer for this. I wish I did.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
I
Well,
I
think about it and get back to me on that one.
I
Okay.
can do that, yeah.
Okay. So is there a person that you'd like to trade places with for a day?
Totally random, 100% random. Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, Ryan. Oh, Ryan Seacrest. Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. All
That
right.
dude just works, and I
Yeah.
wanna, like, understand where his head is at, how like, if you've ever understood or, like, read and or figured out, like, his life, like, the dude is just he's on air at 7 AM, and he's still on air at midnight, and I just don't understand, and I don't know a lot of it's recorded, but you had to record it at some point. So
Yeah. 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 Interesting. Okay. Do you have a guilty pleasure? We all do.
Um, I love, like, just driving in the car, listening to music with the music all the way up, the windows down, with no destination in mind.
Oh, okay. Right. I like it. So, what is the best gift that you have ever given someone?
Does it have to be physical?
No.
Alright. I once had an opportunity, at Hard Rock Stadium at a Miami Dolphins game to give up my field passes to a young girl who was celebrating her 13th birthday. And in the process of doing so, she ended up getting a signature, from a player that she really wanted to play a signature from, and, like, it took me nothing, right? It was just I had the access, I had the ability, I was able to give it to her. I stood in the stands while she was on the field, it was incredible, like, I just know that sh I made her I know that I made her day, so I think that's the best gift.
Probably more than her day. She'll never forget that day for the rest of her life. So that's amazing. Love that. Okay. So what's the worst piece of advice you ever got?
Oh, that's a good question. Worst piece of advice I ever got. Um, you know, best compliment and worst piece of advice I ever got, I think you stumped me on these 2. I don't know that
Oh,
I don't know how to answer that.
okay. That's fine. Okay. What is the one thing that you wish you were better at dealing with?
I don't know if it's better at dealing with. I wish I was better of taking myself less serious, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like,
Makes
I need to
perfect
learn
sense.
how to live, laugh more.
Okay. All right. Okay. What was your favorite childhood movie?
Oh, The Sandlot.
Oh, The Sandlot, great movie. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So you didn't even hesitate. So what is the one book that changed your life?
One book that changed my life. Admittedly, I'm not a huge reader. I read a ton of email, so I I got that. In terms of books, um, I love the art of not giving a fuck.
Okay. All
I
right.
think that might be one of it.
Okay. All right. And tell us something that most people don't know about you.
Most people don't know that I love to dance.
Okay.
I'm not good at it. I'm not going to claim I can be on Dancing with the Stars, but I love to dance.
What kind of dance?
I don't know that it has a style.
Okay.
I
All
just
right.
love to move.
Jamming. All right. Great. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Rory, it's been great having you on the show today. If you could please tell our listeners, you said you're based in Fort Lauderdale, what's the best way to reach you and what's the best way to reach Wheelhouse IT?
Yeah, certainly. First, Josh, I want to thank you for having us. I mean, it's been a pleasure to have this conversation and see what you guys are doing in the law space. And thank the listeners for joining your podcast or listening to it.
You're
And
welcome.
to connect with Wheelhouse IT, it's very simple. Wheelhouseit.com. So wheel like the wheel of a car, house like the house you live in, it.com. Connect with us there. It's so many different ways once you're on there. Follow us on social media. Uh, it's the best way to do it. The one thing about Wheelhouse IT is we love to be informational and educational. So it's not a sale. That's the best way to describe it. Like, our sales team isn't designed to just push things down your throat and say, hey, buy. So if we can be educational and get people to make informed decisions, then we've done our job.
So is there a direct email address or a LinkedIn profile or something that if they want to talk to you directly, Rory?
Yeah. My email is rory.cooksey, RORY .COOKSEY at wheelhouseit.com. And then if you want to find me on LinkedIn, it's Rory Cooksey. You can't miss it. I'm the guy with the dog in my photo. Connect with me. I'm happy to connect with anybody.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks again for being our guest today. Really appreciate you. That's it for now. Until our next exciting episode of the AGM Attorney Podcast. I'm Josh Konigsberg signing off for now. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the AGM Attorney Podcast. Now it's time to put these strategies into action and accelerate your growth. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next time.